More than likely, flammable liquid vapors from the acetylene or the gasoline explode now again in the basement. This causes a large wall of dark red flames to shoot up in the area with black smoke coming off the top of the flames. They rescue McMenemy. They bring him to this location. Chief Vallone, Battalion 3, is now on the scene. He assesses the damage. His immediate concern is injuries to civilians and his personnel on the scene. He goes to the rear of the location. General Corps tells him that there's only 2 firefighters that have been seriously injured, Geiger and McMenemy, and he has them both. The second alarm assignment now begins to arrive, and we set up a command post at approximately this location. One of the things that this fire showed was the success of the command post operation. Police, RG&E personnel, and ambulance crews have been trained in this, and they realized that all information had to come through the command post. We now had a report that there was gas at 61 Jersey Street, a strong odor of gas at 61 Jersey Street. The second alarm assignment and most of the first alarm assignment did not have all the information of what went on at 105 Jersey Street. We did not know if there was a gas leak in the area or all the facts. The police came to the command post, relayed RG&E's information back to us, told us there wasn't gas leaks on the street. That made our job a lot easier. All the ambulance personnel told us who was injured, who was going to what hospitals, how many firefighters we had injured. At this time, Chief Huther arrives on the scene and calls for a third alarm assignment. And we begin an aggressive interior attack, bringing lines off Quint 4 into 101 and lines off Engine 12 into 111 Jersey Street. At this time, once we ascertain that we haven't got a gas leak in the area, that the mains are intact, and we begin an interior attack on these 2 structures, we know we're going to hold the fire to these 2 structures and limit the damage to this location. Eventually, we abandon the interior attack at 111 because the condition of the building is in such poor condition from the explosion. We stopped the fire at 101, although also this building is in a poor condition from the explosion. One of the things for companies to remember was there was a hydrant at this location at 105 Jersey Street. You knew that assignment had water. If there's a hydrant, if there's a hydrant at this location, there's also going to be a hydrant at this location, more than likely on Wisconsin Street, on the opposite interior residential street. And you can tell your third alarm companies to hook up directly in the rear. Quint 1, MIDI 1, Engine 1 came in on the 3rd, brought lines in to the fire from this location, did an excellent job. Approximately 40 houses within 1,000 feet of the fire were damaged by the force of the explosion. We have confirmed reports that as far as a mile away, the explosion was heard and felt. Within 1,000 feet of Jersey Street, this is a dense residential neighborhood, there was a damage to approximately 40 homes. This house at 111, its interior structure, its basement wall is blown back 8 inches. 101 is leaning approximately 2.5 feet from the gable. 111 is leaning back approximately 4 feet from the gable. Within 1,000 feet of 105, there was insulation in the treetops. The garage in this area, this roof of this side of the garage was ripped right off the building from the force of the explosion. High-tension wires and the back of this area had part of the roof from 105 sitting on top of the high-tension lines. I would say rough estimates for losses were anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. 111 was called for an immediate teardown. We called for heavy equipment. When the heavy equipment got there, we began digging out the basement of 105. The first thing that we came up with was a leaking acetylene tank. The hazmat team had to be recalled to the scene. The scene had to be re-evacuated from corner to corner. We now were keeping civilian personnel out approximately to these locations. We re-evacuated back to both corners. The hazmat team under Captain Genovola came in. They had been at the fire previously and had been released. They came back to the scene. Within minutes, they had plugged the acetylene tank. We had the acetylene tanks removed from the scene, and the situation was brought under control after approximately 7 hours, 8 hours of work.
I've just witnessed film of that tragic day on Jersey Street. I couldn't let this go by without thanking the many agencies involved in this. You only saw part of the operation on Jersey Street. It was a very traumatic experience for everyone there. The Red Cross was involved, the police department was involved, EMS was involved, building department was involved. Numerous agencies were involved in making sure that everyone in this neighborhood received the help they needed. It's a harrowing experience for a quiet residential neighborhood to go through. To have a house blow up in the middle of their neighborhood, have 2 other houses catch fire, and have over 40 homes damaged by the force of this explosion. It was very, very grateful to me to see the cooperation between the different departments, the different governmental agencies and private agencies to help these people in their time of need. It was very rewarding to know that the fire department, the fire personnel who arrived first on the scene, followed the proper procedures. If they had ignored that order that we issued in May about not parking their apparatus in front of the home when they responded to a gas leak, they would have been right in the middle of the explosion. We were very, very fortunate that we didn't have any firefighters killed or seriously injured. We had 2 firefighters burned, but the injuries could have been much greater, could have been very, very severe, or even some of us could have been killed. When you come upon situations like this, it's important that you follow procedures that are established for your safety, for firefighting personnel safety, for police personnel safety, for EMS personnel safety. You should stay back when you have gas leaks. Only have 1 or 2 individuals check it out before you go into operation, because that knock on the door, that door may explode in your face. When you have a person such as this, who had the intention of taking his life and other lives with him, you have to be prepared for the unexpected. My years in the fire service, I've always said, it's the unexpected that kills and hurts firefighters. It was totally unexpected that this house was going to explode and 2 other houses catch fire. And that could have been very, very dramatic or tragic. It could have been very tragic for the Rochester Fire Department, for the police department, and the ambulance personnel. Again, I want to say thanks to all who did a super job under very, very difficult conditions.